Burn Live. What's up, everybody? Marijuana, we keeping you connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers' eye red, keeping underage smoking, thank you, off social media, killing ourselves for your entertainment. Sitting here with friends and family, starting a cannabis session. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. Tonight is definitely going to be way more energy than I did last night. I'm so sorry about last night. But the show must go on. We're just gonna put it like that. The show must go on. Tonight is Monday. Y'all know how we do it over here. It's the news, it's the receipts. Um, I did a lot of video searching this morning and looking for the right type of videos to really see, like, man, what am I going to, how am I going to talk to the people? What are we going to talk about today? What is going to be the lessons that we do today? What are going to be the things that we're going to involve ourselves in today? And true indeed, today was some of the most wonderfulest, saddest, craziest news I can ever run across when I run across some of the news. But I had to see this news, make sure that this stuff was right, and then, um, hey, make it acquirable for you people to be able to digress and see and understand and know. And if y'all hold on 2 seconds. Um, some of the news that I'm gonna bring up is gonna be like, wow. And some of the news are gonna be like, okay, it's really, really happening. Um, I found this one article that was talking about
Yo, Bash, you been tripping on them hoes.
the Democratic Party and their agendas and how to look at them. And when you want to look at them and what they stand for and what type of moves they make, you know what I'm saying? This one video I ran across was one of the best videos I can ever run across. And it just broke it down quite well for me, of a person that couldn't explain it, but like, okay, how could I explain it? You know what I'm saying? What are the things to look at, look for? And it broke down the history too. There was a lot more videos, but I'm gonna go ahead and play just this one, just so people who don't understand can get that idea of what the Democratic Party looks like, what's their agenda, and those sorts. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Of those of sorts. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like I said, this video really does break it down and give you the core of where it came from, how it was set up, and stuff like that. Without further ado, I don't know why I'm saying it so early. Like I got it really up and ready for us. Oh, okay. That's more like. Without further ado, y'all, I think that I should play this video just so you can get an understanding of the Democratic Party, where it came from, how it's defined it, and then I got a follow-up video to show you what they look like in modern today's society.
The Democratic Party is known for favoring a larger federal government as well as liberal social policies. However, this was not always the case. In 1792, when founding fathers Thomas Jefferson and James Madison formed the Democratic Republican Party, which will later become the Democratic Party, they want the federal government to have a smaller role and more people involved in the democratic process, not just the elite. In 1829, President Andrew Jackson expands on those ideals. He wants an even smaller federal government and champions enlarging the electorate to all white men from just landowners. African American men do not gain the right to vote until 1870, and women gain the right to vote in 1920. The
Right there should be our breaking grounds. 1860, blacks were able to vote. Women was 1920. Do you know a lot of people would say it the other way around? They were like, women had their rights to vote before blacks. No, before women. Okay? Because this is the reason why, y'all. The reason why blacks had the rights before women is because of war. Okay? And when you had a lot of people who votes didn't count and it, diseases and stuff like that, you had votes that was real close. It'd be like 49-50, and you be looking all over town for somebody to vote. So
now you don't have to. You have two other.
Well, no matter what, as long as America was gonna grow, they was gonna always have eventually black people to vote.
Mm-hmm.
My assumption. I'm gonna say it like that. My assumption.
Democratic Party splits geographically in 1860 in the lead up to the Civil War. Northern Democrats and Southern Democrats disagree over the issue of slavery and preserving the Union. When the South loses the Civil War in 1865, the Democratic Party loses its national prominence for several generations, while the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln dominates the political landscape. By 1912, when the first Southern Democrat is elected president since the end of the Civil War, the party has become more progressive. President Woodrow Wilson champions the woman's vote, which is ratified in 1920. It isn't until the Great Depression when Democrats regain their political dominance, led by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who expands the role of the federal government. Many African American voters switched to the Democratic Party because of Roosevelt's policies. In the mid-1960s, Lyndon Johnson passes civil rights legislation as well as more government social programs.
Yet again, a turning point, if I can go back a little bit further real quick. So you got the 1800s and then the turning point right here.
Expands the role of the federal government. Many African American voters switched to the Democratic Party because of Roosevelt's policies. In the mid-1960s, Lyndon Johnson passes civil rights legislation as well as more government social programs.
Government programs telling people that they're going to build housing, more affordable housing. Remember that key word, y'all, affordable housing. Things that the government, not to say the government, things that the Democratic Party opposes and tries to let us know that happens.
In recent decades, Democrats and Republicans have traded control over the presidency. The most recent Democratic president, Barack Obama, is the first African American president, and he expanded the government's role in healthcare.
There's a question I've had for a very long time, and it has to do with this.
Now, this video right here, and it's so perfect that came up today like this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we heard the GIFs and the backgrounds of the Democratic Party. You know what they're about. You've seen that, right? So we've seen that. We got that understanding. The Democratic Party was with the Republican. They thought more about putting in programs so they're divided. Now, there's a lot of people out there who's going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking from, I'm just finding videos. I'm finding factual videos with evidence that breaks down the numbers that you can go look up yourself. Now, yes, I do got to learn how to put these videos in description so my people can go find them. I'm playing these videos today because I just thought maybe my channel need to be a little bit more educated on the Democratic Party, what it means, what I'll be looking at, what I'll be fighting against on my channel. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And so when we get into the nitty-gritties of these stories and all this stuff, and we really get to talking about it, y'all already know the base of where I come from. And then I can always say, man, go back to the one video and where I discuss on Monday, you know what I'm saying? So I can be able to discuss, you know. So this video that I'm finna show you now is the modern day age of it. People now are looking at it and say, hey, this is what represents the Democratic Party. This is what the Democratic Party promised us. And I'm gonna say us because I still live here in America too. And this is what we're not getting. This is why we see what we see. And when y'all see these numbers, and I'm gonna stop in the middle, but wait till y'all see
Map.
this.
This is a map of the 18 states in the US where Democrats control the legislative and executive branches, or else have some veto-proof majority in the legislature. Democrats in DC often blame the GOP for foiling their progressive vision.
When middle-class families see their taxes go up, they'll know Republicans are to blame.
But if you zoom into these 18 states, there's effectively no Republicans standing in the way. So my question is, what do Democrats actually do when they have all the power? To answer,
I should have put that in my title. What do they do? But I really been thinking about the titles and stuff I could do. Got to get better. But first things first. In 18 states out of 50 are fully ran by Democratic Party. That means legislated. Damn, I don't forgot all the branches already. Judicial. And state. I'm just gonna throw it in state. Okay, so now that you know that most majority of these, we finna find out. And I'm sorry for not being fully correct, like I'm a full-fledged politician. I'm not. I never ran for office or nothing like that. But to learn what I'm finna learn what we finna learn together, is the whole beauty of going down this rabbit hole and exposing ourselves to letting us know this is what the Democrat Party. So we're opening our own eyes and seeing our own selves.
to answer this question, I teamed up with the Times editorial board writer Binya Applebaum.
Okay, you got my attention.
He's been thinking about and writing books about and reporting on this topic for decades.
I think, Americans tend to view politics as a competition of us versus them. And they tend to think that if they would just get out of the way, then we can do the things that we want to do. There is no them standing in the way. There's just the we of Democrats and their supporters, and they get to decide what policy should look like in those states. And that is an opportunity for them to implement their vision.
For this story, I also delved into this giant document. It is the 2020 Democratic Party platform. If you want to really understand what Democrats say they want, what their vision is for America, it's found inside of this document. This document serves as a guide as we zoom into these states to answer this question. What do Democrats really do when they have all the power?
Nearly 554,000 homeless people from the 25 wealthiest Americans shows they're paying little in income taxes compared to their fortunes, sometimes nothing at all.
We cannot, in good faith, blame the Republican Party when House Democrats have a majority.
There's still very intense segregation happening in all kinds of forms all over this country.
Okay, so let's start with California. To me, California is like the quintessential.
Remember what I said, housing. Remember, a lot of our stories come from Chicago, California. Now we finna go deeper into the numbers of why these states are always picked on.
Central liberal state. From the state legislature to the whole executive branch to most of the big cities, Dems hold majority control. So what do they do with all this power?
Looking at California, you have to look at housing.
Okay, now wait, listen. When I hear the words housing policy, I tend to sort of doze off. But Binya insists that housing policy and what is happening in California is definitely worth looking at.
You cannot say that you are against inequality in America unless you are willing to have affordable housing built in your neighborhood.
And Democrats completely agree. Here in this document, the word housing is mentioned over 100 times.
The neighborhood where you're born has a huge influence on the rest of your life. Children who are born in neighborhoods with degraded environmental conditions, with a lack of access to high quality public services, poor schools, poor public transit, are at a permanent disadvantage.
And you hear this in a lot of stories when it talks about the schools and fundings. It's a video that went viral on TikTok of kids were showing out this one big exclusive school and people were just throwing the school under the bus. But yet again, when you learn what y'all finna learn, and I keep interrupting, I'm sorry, but when you learn that money is not spread out like we once thought it was, or however you want to look at it. Facts is facts. And I'm finna bring facts. And I don't want nobody to say or think like, oh, this reality is my reality and your reality is your reality. No, this is not nobody else's reality. This is the main reality. This is this earth, and this is what's going on. I almost said Earth 1, y'all. This is Earth 1, and this is what's going on.
Advantage.
And they even say verbatim, housing in America should be stable, accessible, safe, healthy, energy efficient, and above all, affordable.
Housing is a human right.
Housing is a human right.
The rent is going through the roof. Housing is a human right.
How does California do when it comes to housing?
You know where those signs are when you drive into a state, it says, "Welcome to California." They might as well replace them with signs that say, "Keep out." Because in California, the cost of housing is so high that for many people, it's simply unaffordable. The state has simply, for the most part, stopped building housing. I mean, there are cranes, there's housing going up, but it has slowed down over time really, really sharply. And it is nowhere near sufficient to keep pace with California's population. And so what you have is not enough housing and too many people trying to get it. And the inevitable result is that prices have gone up and away.
The median price of a home in San Diego County is now a staggering $830,000.
All around California, there are cities full of people who say that they are progressive, they're liberals. They believe in a more equal America, a more diverse America. They show up to the marches, they put in the lawn signs about everyone being equal, but at the same time, they're actively fighting to keep their neighborhoods looking like this. Okay, wait, but that doesn't look so bad. It's just a bunch of houses in a neighborhood, right? No, it turns out that this is actually the result of specific policies, intentional policies that keeps these neighborhoods spread out and full of single-family homes, as opposed to higher density buildings like duplexes or apartment complexes. This is a real serious fight, and you can get a glimpse into it by looking at a zoning map. Yes, we're looking at a municipal zoning map of Palo Alto, California. Don't leave yet. This is really where it sinks in, so just stick around. So everything on this map that is yellow is zoned for single-family homes, like this and this. One family can live here. But here in Palo Alto, there are a lot of new jobs. This is a desirable place to live for new opportunities. Over the past 8 years, the San Francisco area has added 676,000 jobs, but only 176,000 housing units. So a few years ago, the city council voted to change the zoning of one section of the city right here. Specifically this 2-acre plot of land. They wanted to change it from low density housing to higher density housing so that they could build a 60-unit affordable housing complex for elderly members of the community. Okay, so they changed the zoning. Start building the 60-unit complex. No, the overwhelmingly liberal residents of Palo Alto decided to hold a vote to overturn the decision, to revert it back to low-density, single-family housing, back to yellow. And it passed, and the zoning was overturned.
A lot of people are probably asking this same question as why would a process like this happen? Now, you got to think about this and you got to look at it like this. When a person gets on TV and preaches and tells every young person 18 and up that they want to be independent, that, you know what I'm saying, you want to get a housing and housing's affordable, and you know what I'm saying, that makes a lot of people want to move out and people want to move in, and instead of moving into a bunch of apartments, you know what I'm saying, and you got neighbors and everybody sticking together, and you're learning and you're building, and the community's making triple the money because you got more than one person on the property. You got that one house. So that one person got to put his name and start.
Or a house that's typically meant for like 4.
No, it's just a house. You know, a house, you know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, you know what I'm saying? Thinking of a family.
Sure.
One family.
What?
That's why people, you get this big old no up here over more yeses, because you do got them family, and you got to think like this, y'all. I'm in a community. It's nice. I can go outside. I can go chill. I can pop my little fireworks. You know, I can chill, barbecue. I can have my little friends over, and nobody's bothering me. Nobody's all in my business. Nobody's peeping over the fence and say, "Hey, buddy, you didn't invite me." You know what I'm saying? You don't have too many home improvement episodes where you're in the backyard where you got your neighbor looking over and you see only the top half of them for the longer of the episode. And that's really the scenario and what it comes down to. And when people think like that, and also you think like that too. You're looking at this day and age, you see what's going on. So you want to move in those type of neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? I want to move in that type of neighborhood. So, you know what I'm saying? But if all the Democratic Party places, states, having homeless at a high rate, you can't do what you really want to do. You can't make it safe like you really want to. But then, yes, you can make it safe, because you can just make some nice apartments and put a fence around it.
Sure.
Gated up.
A gated community right in the center.
You know, but there's just ideas and stuff like that. Let's go on.
So now when you go to this plot of land, instead of an affordable housing complex for the elderly, what you're going to see is this: a row of just a few houses, all of them massive and worth around $5 million each.
I think people aren't living their values. You go to these meetings in these neighborhoods where they're talking about a new housing project, and it's always the same song. And it goes like this: I am very in favor of affordable housing. We need more of it in this community. However, I have some concerns about this project.
We have the hearts to do this, but we're doing it wrong, and we're dictating and harm onto the neighborhoods.
And then off we go with the concerns, and then nothing ever gets built.
This is happening all over California. And the result is that these neighborhoods are so expensive that they keep anyone out who isn't a part of this small group of super rich residents, many of whom bought their properties decades ago and who spend their time fighting vigorously to keep the value of their real estate assets super high.
If you want to keep Palo Alto the kind of neighborhood and community that we all treasure, low intensity, low density, safe for kids to walk to school, you've got to vote against Measure D.
There's an aspect of sort of greed here and of nervousness about actually sharing those opportunities.
You see how they talk. You want your neighborhood to stay like this, and you can't help it if that's factually true. You can and you cannot help it. But when people make strong statements at a board talking about your neighborhood safe and you don't want the riffraff, you don't want no type of riffraffs. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no type of people to come around that's going to lower the value of your home, which you done put money into, you done decorated, you done colored, and all that type of stuff. And that's another thing, like you said, you see taxations, but taxes in a home when you're getting it done and other stuff like that is totally a different ball game. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people get into stuff like that.
Let's go to another liberal bastion up here in Washington state. The Democratic Party talks about taxation, saying that our tax code has been, quote, rigged against the American people. Democrats all the time are decrying the fact that tax cuts are going to the wealthiest Americans.
It is time for a wealth tax in America.
Democrats believe in a progressive tax system where the rich pay a larger share of their income than the poor. This is like the most basic policy vision of like a progressive movement. It's front and center in Democrats' policy platform.
But if you go and look at Washington state, what you find is that in Washington state, if you look at the state and local taxes that people pay there, less affluent families pay a much larger share of their income in taxes than the wealthiest residents of Washington state. So people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, two of the state's most famous and wealthy residents, are in this lovely situation of paying less in taxes as a share of their income than the poor people who live in that same state. And this is a fundamental inversion of the values that the Democratic Party professes. There's no state with a more regressive system of taxation than Washington state.
And I'm talking like the most regressive, meaning Texas, which is like the conservative bastion of like anti-taxes, is more progressive than Washington state, liberal Washington state. How is that real? Oh, and guess what? Other states on our map also are in the top 10 of most regressive tax regimes, like Nevada and Illinois.
I was waiting on this part right here so y'all can see what states is high in taxes. And y'all know where I broadcast at. It's no joke. That's another reason why I'm glad it's up there. And understandable. That's why I was talking to some people the other day and today about taxation and building a stadium out here and stuff like that, and why it's a good idea and why it's a bad idea, and certain locations and stuff like that. You need to have it in certain places like that. And what shocked me up there out of all places, no bull crap, y'all, is number 6 was Tennessee. I was just like, Tennessee. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It just shocked it shocked me. I've been through South Dakota.
There have been some changes, particularly in recent years, but the overall situation remains resistant to change.
So I'm very concerned that at this time, which is a very poor time to disincent people from creating jobs in Washington state, that we're even considering it.
From that paycheck that you earn, more of that money is going to state government. And so the effect of that is basically to exacerbate inequality.
Okay, so rich liberals don't show up when it comes to housing or taxes. Another major theme in this policy document is education. And the wording in here I find quite interesting. The Democrats say, quote, "We must provide world-class education in every zip code to every child because education is a critical public good." They use this word zip.
This part goes back to what I was saying when I was talking about the school and how your school can get funded. But you see, the key words is zip code, y'all.
Code to represent the fact that in America, schools get their funding based on the real estate taxes of the houses within that school district. The more expensive the neighborhood, the more funding goes to the school. So over here in Illinois, which is like the quintessential liberal state, there's this one county that contains the city of Chicago. It's called Cook County. The residents here voted overwhelmingly for Democratic candidates in the presidential and senatorial elections last year. Often what would happen is that this would just be one big school district, and that all the taxes from all the towns in this county would be put into one bucket and distributed equally throughout the county. But the residents of this very blue Democratic county have actually decided to divide themselves into more than 140 school districts. So now you have all these tiny school districts like this one, which are like gerrymandered around the richest part of town. And so all of the taxes from these rich homeowners go into one little bucket and then only get distributed to the schools within this rich region of the county.
It can be on the same block that the town line runs through the middle of it. And if you live on one side of that line, you're consigned to an inferior education by virtue of the fact that you and your neighbors don't have as much money. And if you live on the other side, you're basically a member of a club that is sponsoring a private school, essentially, for the benefit of that small group of kids who are lucky enough to live in that affluent community. And the result is that poor communities have less money to educate their children, and rich communities have more money to educate their children. This is crazy. It means basically that the kids who have the greatest needs have the fewest resources.
The same thing is happening in wealthy, liberal Connecticut, where the inequality in education opportunities is shameful, with some schools having huge budgets for their libraries and
Yet again, this is true. But I don't think videos like this, people like me, people like us, is not spreading these videos out enough to be shown in these democratical areas so they know. Other than that, they're going to be like, they don't care. It's just because, listen here, y'all, when you say government, a person puts all of it in one big old box. I'm like, it's just all of them, just them. And you be like, who is them? You know what I'm saying? And it kills me inside to be thinking that we really be sitting up here just like, it's them. And it's a party, and it's a Democratic Party, and it's a Republican Party. Now, there is true talk of a brand new parties with an S coming up and able to start a new wave. And they're making threats on the internet or Twitter and stuff like that. So don't get it twisted. But stuff like this, these facts, these well-known facts of how it's ran and how it's done needs to be spreaded to our friends and family for generations to know, like, okay, so this is how it is, so we can change it. Hey, so let's break down some of these zip codes. That's what they're gonna have to do, and that's gonna be the first fight that you're gonna have to do. It's gonna be probably one of the longest, hardest fights that you ever do in your life, is setting up to break down zip codes so money can be funded equally and a little bit more fairly throughout your city. I hope that makes sense.
facilities, and others in the same state having to use duct tape to keep wind and snow out of their windows. Like, this is a real thing.
We need your help in establishing guidelines, procedures, and funding to address issues negatively impacting our students, like extreme temperatures, mold, lead exposure, and poor water and air quality.
So yeah, Binya tells me that the states could change this. They could actually just collect all the real estate taxes and then equally distribute them. But if you look at some of our liberal strongholds, that is exactly what they are not doing. Let me be clear about something. In blue states, progress is being made, albeit slowly. For instance, a few weeks ago, California finally passed a law that gets rid of single-family zoning. It's a small step in the right direction. And in many cases, blue states provide more and better public services, and historically have given better chances to low-income families to climb the economic ladder. But for some of these foundational democratic values of housing equality, progressive taxation, and education equality, Democrats don't actually embody their values very well.
We're talking, once again, about a system that's been rigged.
Republicans today are to blame.
What we're talking about here is that blue states are the problem. Blue states are where the housing crisis is located. Blue states are where the disparities in education funding are the most dramatic. Blue states are the places where tens of thousands of homeless people are living on the streets. Blue states are the places where economic inequality is increasing most quickly in this country. This is not a problem of not doing well enough. It is a situation where the blue states are the problem.
Affluent liberals tend to be really good at showing up to the marches and talking about how they love equality. They're really good at putting signs in their lawn.
See, I'm just trying to bring people a little bit of knowledge. A little bit of knowledge, a little bit of news of things that's going on. I am looking for this other video, y'all. I'm not letting this video pass me up. No. So, let me just speak it into an existence so I can find it. Ladies and gentlemen, today I ran across a video that goes deeper into your schools and what they are teaching. Okay. Yeah, I keep thinking I'm playing and BSing where they're I think the word is gentrifying your kids. Well, grooming. Okay, the word is grooming. We not finna sugarcoat nothing. The word is grooming. Man, these teachers are secretly coming in like I guess listen, they want to be the next secret society. Because they're grooming your kids, they're finding out ways to not tell you guys and tell us. My son, I just can't wait till he come and tell me that, hey man, they trying to tell me to dress up as a girl in school and it's okay. Because I'm shooting up there. And I promise you, y'all, I'm looking for this video. And I can't find it. Didn't we watch it this morning?
Mm-hmm. Was it the ABC one?
No, where they were sitting down, they was watching videos at the schools. See, I watched so many videos, y'all. I know I watched this video today. I just had to put in the words. I see. This is the part where my parents were like, man, you need a monitor. I know, I need one because this stuff is, they're not going to bring it up like that. See, they showing all these. I'm so glad y'all didn't see that. I'm so glad y'all didn't see that. That was just hella wrong. That was hella wrong. Oh well. I'm not gonna just say oh well like that. But I do have another way to look for. But also, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me still be talking while I'm looking. Basically, it was showing like they got books. Man, y'all know I already been talking about the books, but it was going deeper than the books, y'all. It was going deeper, way deeper than the books. It was actually
this magic belongs no.
letting you know that they are unifying together. Like the fact that they're unifying and like we almost cannot say nothing about it. is what's creeps me out about all of this. That you got teachers who are supposed to teach math, education, history, and they just want to teach us about your sexuality. I think it's the word that they're using. That's why I can't wait to find this video, because it's hard for me to explain because it just had me so flabbergasted. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. That's one thing I'm sure is her videos. Because she's the main person that talks about it. Ooh, that video is rough. All right. No. Was it one of her live videos? I don't know. Give me 2 more seconds, y'all. And I'm just going to pull a rabbit out. Not just a rabbit out my hat, but I wish you can just search up under her. Now you up under her page. That'll help. Like, so awesome. Do. I know I'm boring, y'all. I know I'm boring, y'all. Give me. Well, damn it, darn it, Jim. It's not going to let me bring up the video. Obviously, of course, they're not going to let me bring up the video because how controversial it was and to bring a reality of what's going on. Whatever. I should have known. It's always the big, deep stories that I always want to share with you guys that I can't never go back to. And then when I get off her and I go chill, I'm like, oh, this story is right here, always in my face the whole entire time. That's like gonna make me mad. But you know what, child, it is what it is. There's other things we can talk about that's going on too. So we can move right along and talk about this right here.
The president.
Okay, y'all know I just talked about that Trump thing. Sorry, y'all. I know y'all be like, boy, you need to get your shit together. That's why nobody watch the show. True. These are facts.
The president's job's not supposed to be easy. You have a grueling schedule, you got conflicts everywhere, and of course, you get tough questions.
Sir, if I may, the polls show that a lot of American people just simply don't believe you. But the one thing that you've had going for you more than anything else in your presidency, your credibility, has been severely damaged. Can you repair it? What does it mean for the rest of your presidency?
Well, I imagine I'm the only one around who wants to repair it, and I didn't have anything to do with this damaging it.
And tough questions aren't the only thing presidents have to dodge. Whether it's tough questions,
Hey, I bet y'all didn't see that coming on my show. Damn. I forgot. See, I wasn't covering politics back then. Ooh, I would have had me some good laugh. I bet you comedians probably did have them a good laugh at that one. That was too funny. I had to stop and get my laugh on it. That one. Bush, hold on, y'all. Y'all know Bush so-called served in the Air Force, right?
Damaging it.
And tough questions aren't the only thing presidents have to dodge.
Hey, that was a good. That first throw was on point that he dodged too. That was hey. I didn't vote for Bush, but I would have voted for his good dodging skills. I'd have picked him up on a dodging ball team. Dodgeball, Bush. You didn't see that interview? I'm just saying.
Whether it's tough questions flying or shoes flying, sometimes the briefing room's hostile. Remember how hostile it was with Trump?
I've spoken to hundreds of people across the country in the last few weeks who say they still can't get tested and that they aren't social distancing because
So
they
the governors, Excuse me. I know your question. You ready? The governors are supposed to do testing. I told them when they put this guy here, it's nothing but trouble. He's a showboat. If you keep talking, I'll leave and you can have it out with the rest of these people.
But everything changed when Joe became president. You never hear from him. So we do expect reporters to ask questions that we want to get asked when we get a shot. Like this weekend, Biden was riding his little bike around Delaware with his little helmet, and he did something he never does. He actually took questions from reporters. No cheat sheets, which we could see. No binders. One-on-one with the big guy. You get to ask the president of the United States anything you want. And they've been begging the president to talk to them. Talk to me, talk to me. So you'd think they'd have some really sharp questions lined up. No, we got this.
Was it a nice Mother's Day?
It was.
What did you do for the First Lady?
Well, since she's not my mom, I got her favorite thing, an orchid on her wrist corsage. And my daughter came down. She's with us now, and she brought some things for her mom.
Biden's mother's been passed away for a while. Why are they asking him about Mother's Day? He's a guy. And this is how was your Mother's Day? It's not even Father's Day. Come on. You have to do better than that. But it didn't get better. No one asked a good question. Listen to this one.
Do you think you'll be able to leave for the G7?
That's my plan as it stands now.
Looking forward to your trip?
So it makes you think that no matter how you look at it, it was staged. Mm-hmm. If they didn't answer no tough questions about, okay, Trump saying that, he'll stop the war in 24 hours, what are you going to do to stop the war? That's my first question. Off rip, off top. Hey, Joe. Trump said 24. I know you didn't watch it, but Trump said he can end that war in 24 hours. Can you do better? Huh, good mate? Huh? Cheerio? That's my number one question. I would have thought they would have asked. Do you think that girl that asked Trump those questions was nasty?
She kept trying to cut him off. That's it.
I'm just saying, those are questions I would ask him, sort of.
On Wednesday?
And I bet you there's another show that I'll be watching. I bet you they're not going to bring up this and asking Joe Biden tough questions.
I am. I hope we're able to make it.
The G7? Are you looking forward to the G7? Who cares? What are they talking about? How do you feel? And then they asked about this election in Turkey, because that's what Americans have been clamoring to know about, the Turkish elections. Well, it turns out Biden has no clue.
Do you have any comment on the Turkish elections? It looks like there might be a dispute over President Erdogan.
Oh, is that right? I didn't get any
The
results.
opposition party are claiming they are leading, and state media are saying Erdogan is leading.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? No, look, I just hope it goes, whoever wins, wins.
Our FBI and CIA got caught monkeying around with our elections, and our press is asking about the Turkish elections. Whoever wins, wins. That's Biden's answer. Brilliant. The entire interaction was humiliating. They couldn't ask anything about anything.
Mr. President, when is the debt meeting with the leaders?
In about 10 minutes.
Seriously?
You're holding it up.
When is it actually happening, sir?
We're working out right now the exact time.
Will it be on Tuesday? It's
I
been
believe so.
reported it'll be Tuesday.
I think so.
Do you have an update on how talks have gone this weekend, sir?
I have.
Can you share that with us?
No.
Okay.
What's your level of optimism about that?
That's sharing it, isn't it?
Well, it's giving us a clue.
They're asking the president about scheduling. When's the meeting? Is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? We heard it's Monday. What can you tell us about when the meeting is? Because we said it was Tuesday. Are we right? What a waste of time. These journalists are talking to the president of the United States, and that's what they came up with. What about the millions China bribed his family with? What about the border? Oh, well, they actually asked about the border. Listen to this.
How do you think things are going at the border, sir?
Much better than you all expected.
Do you have any plans to visit
No,
the border?
I think. Pardon me?
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
Not in the near term, no. No, it'd just be disruptive.
Are you confident that the numbers have peaked, that they'll continue to go
No,
down?
look, they have gone down. My hope is they'll continue to go down, but we have a lot more work to do.
The border is doing better than expected. What the hell is he talking about? There's so many illegals coming into the country that Americans are getting kicked out of hotels here in New York so that we can put more migrants in there. The Border Patrol is catching 10,000 illegals a day.
That's crazy. That's messed up. I feel like I covered that first. Nah, that's messed up, y'all, that we're taking the time out to ask the president tough questions. And like you said, we couldn't wait to see Joe Biden ask tough questions. Hope that he goes to a town hall. And they caught him on a bike ride in his town and asked him simple dilly-dally D. That, I don't know.
They had any possible chance to ask them
I wouldn't say-
in the world they wanted, but they chose the most simplest whack questions.
I wouldn't even call him the Ned Flanders of the game, but damn, that was just, I can't believe it. But I guess that's what we're expecting this time. But stuff like this is what's going to draw the new age kids, the new generation, the people that's turning 18 and 21, 22, that's looking at their lives a little different, into wanting to drop the age of getting a new president up in there. There's a lot of people that saying they want a new candidacy for the Democrats. Democrats are saying that. And here we go, just what? Ignoring the people?
Yeah, that's what the government does. The government does what they think they feel best is for us.
But you voted for it. You voted for that person that you thought that knew best for us.
And that's where we went wrong.
And then you got people now that's reporting all this chaos and all this stuff. What is this? Oh, yeah, it was a shooting earlier, y'all. Earlier today in New Mexico. Let's see if I can get. I think I got some more report on it. I just seen it earlier. I ain't gonna lie to you. It did slip my mind. Oops, my bad. But here we go.
Got an update from the police chief in Farmington, New Mexico about this deadly shooting earlier today. At least 3 people killed, others injured, including 2 police officers. Let's listen in here to the police chief give this update.
Good evening. I'm here to give you an update on some of the events of today. What honestly is one of the most horrific and difficult days that Farmington has ever had as a community. During the course of today, an active shooter engaged numerous citizens and then finally was engaged by the police before the rampage stopped. At the end of the day, 10 people were injured, 4 of them killed, including the suspect. I'm going to recount for you some of the events and timeline that we know today, and then try and dispel some of the rumors that I know are going on out there, and give you the best facts that we have today. We'll continue to update you as we go along over the next few days, and during the course of this, you'll hear why I don't know all the answers right now. So officers were dispatched to the vicinity of Dustin and Ute at about 10:57 a.m. this morning. The report was shots being fired in the area. The first officer on scene came in at 11:02, and at 11:05, it was announced that shots had been fired by officers and that the suspect was down, and almost simultaneously that an officer had been shot as well. Then about a minute or so, officers had begun transporting the wounded officer to the hospital, to San Juan Regional Medical Center, and the officer was being treated there within just a few minutes. All told, during the course of the event, the suspect, who's identified as an 18-year-old male, fired at least 3 different weapons that we can confirm at this point, including one being an AR style.
3 different weapons? Damn. Y'all let him get, dang. No offense, y'all. I'm sorry. You know, normally one person, one weapon, they just going off and, you know what I'm saying, they may empty a clip and reload, but 3 different weapons, like, man, sheesh. And look, I'm trying to tell myself to go to New Mexico to go get a job because they got me a good job offer down there. Dang, I need to get my life together in Nevada. I need to get my life together. But no, that's real sad. That's not cool. My prayers go out to the families that lost their loved ones today. For one, I'm gonna let him finish the report because, like I said, this is my second time hearing about it. I seen it earlier.
Style rifle. 3 people, 3 citizens were killed. 2 officers were wounded. 4 other citizens were injured, and the suspect ultimately was shot and killed by responding officers. The event is difficult to understand how something like this happens, but we are doing the best that we can to piece through and talk with family members of the suspect, piece through what was going on, look at the evidence to see if we can figure out what the motivation was. But at this point, it appears to be purely random, that there was no schools, no churches, no individuals targeted. During the course of the event, the suspect roamed throughout the neighborhood up to a quarter of a mile. At least 6 houses and 3 cars were shot in the course of the event as the suspect randomly fired at whatever entered his head to shoot at during the course of the event. Responding officers were able to locate him in the 700 block of North Dustin and engaged him, and the suspect was shot at least 1 time and was killed there at the scene by responding officers. I don't even know what to say on an event like this. How do you address it? I have my deepest.
Okay, no offense, but he sounds like he been held hostage. I didn't want to say that at first, but I think I had to say it because that's really how it sounds. I understand it's like, I don't know if he reading a report or is he just going off his, you know what I'm saying, all his memory and all that stuff. But bruh, homie just really sound like, man, either, you know, understandable. It's probably a lot to take in. I truly understand. I truly get it. But I'm just saying it's almost like somebody, I just felt like somebody was behind the camera and was talking to him, like telling him stuff like, say this.
Holding up a sign.
Heck yeah. 10 people got hostage. Like,
What's the next line, man?
I don't know. I know to be disturbed. If he was that disturbed, I'd be like, man, can somebody else do it? For real, because he was either super disturbed or oh no. It threw me off, y'all. I'm trying to see if I can find another report that's going on. As y'all know, Bud Light is taking a hit. All right, I'm gonna bring up this commercial real quick, this thing, and put my little thing. I seen it this morning.
Here's a little.
Too. And it is what it is. I guess I gotta talk about this too, y'all. And I don't mean to laugh at it, but I don't mean to laugh at it. But this is controversial, so to say.
Known fact, women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's shit.
Are y'all trying to go bankrupt too?
They put us in.
Trying to go bankrupt too.
He made me stop and pause and mess up all type of stuff. Hey, this is not the video that I was expecting and I thought. But he do got a point.
But Anheuser-Busch literally laid out the foundation for how do you lose billions of dollars off of being tone deaf. Now, I want you to look at this video, and I'm going to debunk some of the things that she said or clarify some of the things she said, but the biggest part is that this is the most cringy video or commercial that I have ever seen. If the Dylan Mulvaney thing wasn't cringy enough and stupid enough as a business, why would Miller do something like this? This is worse, in my opinion. This is worse than Dylan Mulvaney. Roll the clip.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that he can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally good. How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality.
For one, it's another one going out about milking trees. I understand that these are controversial, but I think it's purposely to be funny, not to, really, make money, like to make money. I hope they just really did this for comedy. I got my 2 laughs on. I hope you got your laugh on. This is what I'm hoping and expecting, y'all. This is what's going on. If this is not what's going on, if this is like real commercializing and you're gonna start seeing this, give me a second. Let me watch this. Let me put my words together, and then we'll get back to you. Because I right now, me first time saying this, I cannot take this serious. I just can't. I hope you can't either. If you can take it serious, good for you.
Thomas, which has been donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite and they'll turn that into good too. Oh. So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
I could barely stomach listening to that. The audacity of this woman, the audacity of the marketing company, or at least the marketing director.
Bruh, please. You see, he taking it serious. I understand that the marketing team did it. I hope it was a mistake. It was just a wrong button that somebody pushed. I'm not even gonna go no further into this because I don't want him ranting on about that and then going off on some stuff like that. My audience don't need that. We don't need that. That was just kind of, I don't know. That was unexpected. No lie, y'all. It was. I was not expecting that. Now, if y'all ain't seen the one about the milk, which that's the kind of one I was looking for earlier. My bad. My busy, my kneesy, but sheezy. I just hope that dude don't go off on the show. That's why I'm gonna start cutting people's shows in half so y'all go finish watching other people's shows and stuff like that. But that was informational. Knowing that commercials and you people are really gonna start paying the extra money for non-commercials.
They are.
And would the commercial industry find another way to put commercials into shows and stuff like that?
Somehow.
Because if everybody stopped paying for no ads, how you gonna show ads? How is the people? Okay, my dog hair is everywhere.
It is.
Shit, y'all. Don't get a little hairy bastard like mine.
I gotta give mine back too.
Let me see. How long we been live? I don't even know, y'all. Well, I've just been over here chilling. Hour 13 minutes. I look high as fuck too. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. I ain't finna hold nobody. I ain't know we was live for this long. I brought y'all some news. Couldn't bring y'all everything, so hopefully I'll bring y'all some more tomorrow. Tuesday, weed and news on the Burn Live Show. We talk about it, starting a cannibalization. Please go share this information out to your friends and family. I love y'all so much. Please have a good night. Peace.